What's up, Rayquazers? So, I have a black and white 2 match here. And it's a pretty interesting match because my opponent used like 3rd generation move sets, which is weird. I mean, like, go for catching me a little bit off guard somewhat, but that was very, very strange. Overall, I was like, what the heck is going on with this? And so basically, you can see my team's pretty OU-ish, and my opponent has a Blaziken, but it's Blaziken, not Speed Boost, so it's all okay. And just really fast, the common question is, what is your favorite wall in the Pokemon metagame? Just go ahead and let me know in the comments, because you guys are usually pretty good about answering those common questions. Alright, so I'm facing some guy named Ronald, and he's going to lead off with Milotic. I lead off with my Infernape. And I decided to go into a U-turn because I'm a choice band Infernape, and I knew that like a close combat or anything wouldn't KO the Milotic, and I'd get hit by Surf or Scout I was expecting, but he's gonna try and go for the Hypnosis and miss the first turn, which is good. I decided to go for the Will-O-Wisp, expecting him to honestly switch into something, fearing a Thunderbolt or a Trick or something, because I'm a bulkier attacking Rotom, but he doesn't know that. So I thought he was going to switch. So I over-predicted him and went for the burn. And he's going to put my Rotom Wash to sleep. And then in case I woke up first turn, he goes into Jolteon to absorb Thunderbolt if that did happen. But I don't wake up first turn, so I'm going to bring in my Jirachi because I figure, you know, while Jolteon's out, this is a good time to go ahead and set up Stealth Rocks. So Thunderbolt does a fairly decent amount, but I'm not too worried because I can take about 3 to 4 of those, depending on if they're min or max damage. And so he's going to go for the Empower. I guess I don't know, maybe he predicted me to switch or something, because I'm guessing that's Hidden Power Ice. And I'd just go for the Wish so that I wouldn't be able to survive. And now he is going to Baton Pass onto the sub onto something else, so he Baton Passes it onto Blaziken. So Blaziken's behind the sub, which isn't good because that means that could be very bad for me, but I was going for the Body Slam anyway to break the sub. So at least I get the sub broken so something can come in and do some damage to it. And I figured, you know, maybe I'll go for like the Blaze Kick, the Fire Punch, the Flare Blitz, whatever he was going to go for. So I decided to switch into my Landorus-T to cut his attack, but he doesn't go for a physical attack. He instead goes for the Fire Blast, which does a fairly decent amount of damage to my Landorus-T. But I survive, and I know I'm faster than a Blaziken, so I can go ahead and just Earthquake and get rid of his Blaziken, and he must have just left it in because he didn't want to sacrifice anything else, is my guess. Because I honestly don't know why you wouldn't take out your Blaziken on it when a Landorus-T is out. Who knows? So he's going to go into Milotic, and I'm like, okay, this Milotic either has Ice Beam or Scald or Surf or something like that. So I'm just going to U-turn out there to get some damage. Because since I knew I was going to be faster than Milotic, I might as well get off a little bit of damage when I'm going to U-turn. And he tries to go for the Hypnosis. That would break Sleep Claws, bro. And I talked to him later in the match, he does actually break Sleep Claws. But he didn't know there was a Sleep Clause, which if you're going to be saying you're doing a standard metagame battle and you know everything about Smogon, you should know about Sleep Clause, but I guess he didn't. It was kind of weird, so I guess troll something like that. So I'm just going to kind of stay in here because I want my Rotom Wash to wake up, and since it is a bulkier attacker, it should be able to take quite a few hits from this Milotic, especially since it would appear that Surf and Ice Beam are the Milotic's only options of attacking. So I decide, you know, it's best to stay in here. I pretty much have this. If he gets me down too much, as long as I wake up, I can fire off a Pain Split and get some health back. So it'll be grand and fantastic. And right now, it's just a smidgen stally, just a smidgen, because I was waiting to wake up. And then he switches out, I guess expecting to me to not wake up so he could be okay. But I wake up, so I'm going to fire off that Thunderbolt. And that's going to easily KO the Skarmory because it's a clearly physically defensive Skarmory, not specially defensive. If it was specially defensive, it could have taken at least one Thunderbolt, but it would have died from a second one. So the Skarmory was dead anyway, as long as I woke up, which I did. So I figured this was going to be obvious Volt Absorb bait, so I decided to switch out into my Jirachi to get the advantage on the Jolteon. But he goes for the Hypnosis and hits, which is weird because Hypnosis is like 60% and it's hit more than 60% of the time so far. So I was hoping for the first turn wake up, but I'm not going to wake up, unfortunately, which is okay. I'll be fine with that because I can take a pretty good amount of surfs, and as long as I wake up soon, I should be able to fire off a wish and heal up pretty much almost all the way. So I decided to switch out, however, because I'm like, hey, this is a grand time to set up. A Sleep Clause is in effect, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, it's a Sleep Clause, da 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 da. It's all good, and then guess what's gonna happen? So I'm gonna go for the Secret Sword just to see how much damage this would actually do, because my other attacks won't do too much damage, and he's gonna put me to sleep, which violates Sleep Clause, which is really, really annoying. I got on his ass about it though in the chat. I was like, hey, this is a standard Smogon match, right? And he's like, well, yeah, of course. And I'm like, so why'd you break Sleep Clause? And he's like, what? What do you mean Sleep Clause? And so I had to explain to him. So like, troll something like that. I don't know. But unfortunately, My Little Pony's asleep, sadly. Come on, Keldeo, wake up. So, Ice Beam, Surf, getting hit, which is rather sad. I really wish My Little Pony would wake up, because I want my Keldeo awake. That'd be pretty great. He is going to withdraw into his Flygon, which I didn't understand at first, and you'll see why I didn't understand. I do wake up, however, and go for a Calm Mind, but since he withdrew into this, I was expecting him to be like some kind of Choice Scarf Outrage set. So I decided I want to switch into my Rotom, because I should be able to take an Outrage. But he is a, I don't know, for whatever reason, like he has Giga Drain, which apparently I'm guessing Giga Drain must have been in the third generation sets. But yeah, that was kind of strange. Caught me off guard. I go into my Celebi to go ahead and basically take the Giga Drain, thinking he might be Choice, but he's not. So he fires off a Fire Blast, which sucks. I go for the Giga Drain. I could have probably outstalled him, because I mean that Giga Drain did enough towards a 3-hit KO, and he's gonna have to be able to 3-hit KO me. So I probably could have won that, honestly. But I decided to play smarter and switch into something else that would resist the Fire Blast and that I know is going to be faster. So he goes for the Fire Blast as predicted, and right here I'm going to go for the U-turn, thinking it might KO, but in case it doesn't KO, I at least am able to switch into something that will resist Earthquake. And so, since it didn't KO, I'm going to bring in my Landorus-T, because I can resist Earthquake now. And he goes for the Earthquake as predicted, which is good, because that means my Landorus-T is getting back some much needed health, because that one Fire Blast in my Landorus-T did a lot of damage. So I go for the U-turn to go ahead and switch into something that's going to have an advantage. I get a crit, but with Landorus-T's impressive attacking stat, it shouldn't really have mattered, that crit. So I decided to switch into my Rotom W, because it should be able to take anything, be able to survive and all that. And he goes for the Substitute, which I decided to stay in. Maybe he thought I was going to switch out. And I go for the Pain Split, stupidly. I honestly thought about going for the Hydro Pump, but I thought maybe he'd try and KO me first, and I made that prediction instead of the other prediction. So he goes for the T-Bolt and KOs me. Darn, there goes the Body Bag. It's okay though, because I can bring in my Jirachi, and he's going to Baton Pass into Doug Trio, which I'm not too worried about. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I stay asleep, sadly, however, which I'm like, oh, that's pretty bad. That's not good. And so he's going to go for the Empower. I decided to stay in just to see what he was going to do. And he goes for the hidden power, which is, I'm sure that works for 3rd generation because of how physical and special moves were made, but that's not going to really work for Dugtrio this generation, or even 4th generation for that matter. And he's choice banded, he mentioned, so he's locked into this hidden power, which it has to be some kind of physical hidden power, something like that. But yeah, like, I don't know, he locked himself into the weirdest thing. So I go for the Wish because he can't really do much against me, and then I go for the Body Slam, and I am going to be lucky with Jirachi and get that first turn Parahacks, which is great. That really, really makes me happy. And he is going to withdraw into his Jolteon for whatever reason, take a pretty good amount of Stealth Rocks damage, as I go for the Iron Head and KO him off, which is great because that means no more Jolteon. It was really a pain in my rear, honestly. So right here, I go for the Iron Head. I was hoping for the flinch, honestly, and so I get the flinch, and because of flinch and burn, I know he is going to be forced to either recover or put me to sleep, so I decided to keep going for the Iron Head, hoping for that flinch, and he is going to recover this time around. So I was like, okay, whatever. That's okay. I'll be okay. It's just Milotic is annoyingly bulky with Marvel skill and all that. But what are you going to do, honestly? So I decided to switch out because I'm like, okay, well, I better bring in something that can really, really handle this pretty nicely. And I go into my Celebi. He goes for the Hypnosis, which I kind of somewhat predicted him going for that, which is why I switched into my Celebi, and because I guess he didn't pay attention to the fact that Celebi has Natural Cure, so he doesn't try and Hypnosis me the rest of the match because he thinks he's going to break Sleep Claws, when in fact Sleep Claws isn't in effect because the fact that Celebi has Natural Cure, so I just got rid of the Sleep status by switching out. But okay then. So I'm going to bring in my Keldeo, hoping to set up a couple Calm Minds. I thought I was going to be put to sleep, so I was like, I might as well at least get a Calm Mind set up so I can survive whatever he's going to go and use against me. But that's not going to be the case, because guess what? He thinks Sleep Claws is in effect, because I guess he forgot that Celebi has Natural Cure or something. This was the most oddball match, honestly. So I'm just kind of setting up a couple Calm Minds. Like, you know, let's get up a few Calm Minds, do it all good and stuff, get it all set up. And I thought I was going to be easily able to go to +6/+6 because that Ice Beam did nothing. And after 3 Calm Minds, Surf is going to be only doing about that much damage, something like that. So he goes for the Ice Beam, and guess what? He's going to get a lucky freaking crit, which reduces the survivability of my Keldeo. Which means I better just attack now, because my Keldeo is pretty much screwed at this point because of that crit. So I go for the Secret Sword, and my Milotic barely freaking lives. He could have Life Orb stalled me, in fact he probably should have, but instead he's going to kill me off, so he's going to lose his Milotic, which is great for me, because that means no more Milotic, no more annoyance. And so he's going to bring in his Dugtrio, and I'm going to bring in my Landorus-T, and I'm just going to Earthquake him. I'm faster because he's paralyzed. I win the match 4-0. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment, like, and sub to it if you've not subbed already. And the likes really do help me. They help get my channel known, and it really helps me out when you leave a like. It only takes a couple seconds, so please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys later.